partnership, and corporation. So those are business terms. Individual, partnership, and corporations are business terms. So my thing is, why don't it just say man or woman? You know what I mean? It don't, because it can't. All right. Then it says a definition for corporation. A corporation is a person with meaning 14th Amendment equal protection and due process provisions of the United States Constitution. So the business, if you have a business, your business can be a United States person or a United States quote unquote citizen, pretty much. That's the business can be a citizen itself, which means it has all the protections from the Bill of Rights. Facts. This is why a lot of places, if you all right, so let's say for instance, you own like a tattoo shop. Let's just say a tattoo shop. And let's say the owner of the tattoo shop has about 10 employees. And the owner says, everybody in here can carry like whatever you want to carry around while you're on the premises. You can carry just in case somebody tries to take you for your money or some of your cash. You can carry when you're on the property. And the police don't have any jurisdiction over that because the right to bear arms basically falls underneath that pretty much. Which means the Constitution would cover that as a person. And that wouldn't even really be a right, though. That'd be more of a privilege, I believe, from what I'm thinking. Because it's still, if it's a U.S. person, pretty much, that defines it as a benefits and privileges, pretty much. That's what I would say it as. In corporate law, a person includes individual and entity. Yep. Man, it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. It's a lot of it stuff in here. You guys should take a look at it whenever you get a chance because it gets deep. But yeah, there's so many definitions for the word person. All right. Let me go ahead and drop the link in the chat so you guys can hop on if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Or you want to just shoot the shit, talk about whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, boy. Put this back. Why isn't this loading? Wow, it's not letting me put the link in here. What kind of shit is this? Hold on. Let me. It's not trying to let me put the link in here. Some fuckery afoot. Hold on. There we go. I think. Wait a minute. Hold on. Now it don't look like it's working. Yeah, this is awfully suspect right now. It's not trying to. There we go. It just posted twice for some reason. That was weird. Was not trying to let me post that in here. All right, so if anybody want to hop in, there's the link, and we can get to it. But yeah, the W4V form, I'll highly recommend any of these forms you decide to use. Read the directions. Please read the directions. Even the W4 form, people don't want to fill out. Read the directions on the W4 form. Read it. And you'd be surprised what you find. And this stuff is fun to read because it's hidden right in front of you. It's not like you gotta go somewhere and ask somebody on a high mountain, some high priestess. You know what I mean? Nah, bro. All you gotta do is freaking read the directions. It is right there, man. Everything is right there. Read the small print or what have you. All right, so we got my man in the green room, the bad.
What's going on, A6? What's going on, A6 family, fellow Wolves, and everybody out there, fellow non-citizen nationals?
What it is, fam? So what's been good with you? What's that right there? I can't see it.
Black Laws Dictionary, first edition, 1891.
Oh, you got the first edition. My man dropped the big bucks for that joint. Yeah, I seen one going for $1,500, but that was an auction, so it still was going up.
Bro, I got lucky. I got that one for $250.
What?
Yeah.
The one I got right here cost me $350, and this is a volume 3. This ain't even the volume 1.
Yeah, I caught that one. I just happened to randomly Google search, and it popped up, and I was like, nah, it can't be $250. That's got to be $2,500 or something. Nope. Picked it up for $250, mint condition. I mean, nothing, just clean as a whistle, bro. So keep your eye out.
Could you read the definition of human being in there for us?
Let me take a look. I have not looked that up since getting this book. So let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I think it's human being where it says monster that can own no property and has no rights. Human being.
That's very similar. That's actually under person too. It doesn't say monster in it, but let me see what human being has on that.
Because it's like one of them. It's one of those things where like you look up one definition, then it takes you to another one. You look up that one, then it takes you to another area. Then it finally gets to the nitty gritty. Like, all right, you got me, monster, fucking. That kind of thing. Yeah, you know that kind of stuff.
All right. I'm not seeing human being.
Really?
LM. Yeah, no human being.
Look up. See if it's monster. Maybe you can look up monster or something. Try to see if it's monster in there. I know it was one of them actually. Maybe it was Bouvier's.
It might be Bouvier.
It might have been Bouvier's dictionary. I think it's funny how they took the word driver out of the later ones though, because they kept getting beat over the head with that shit. Fuck y'all, man. Y'all reading ass motherfuckers. Why y'all gotta read shit now?
You are right, good sir. Monster, a progenious birth, a human birth or offspring not having the shape of mankind, which cannot be heir to any land, albeit brought forth in marriage. It says BRACT, BRACT.FOL.5, COLITT 8782 BI com, and then 246. I have no idea what all that is, but yeah, so a human birth or offspring.
Yo, and this is the kind when y'all go in them administrative courts, this is what you up against.
Yep. And then person, I gave you a little bit of that one. Hold on, let me get to that one. All right, person. A man considered according to the rank he holds in society, with all the rights to which the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which it imposes. Bouvier, number 137. A human being considered as capable of having rights and of being charged with duties, while a thing is the object over which rights may be exercised. Persons are divided by law into natural or artificial. Natural persons are such as God of nature formed us. Artificial are such as are created and devised by human laws for the purpose of society and government, which are called corporations or bodies politic.
There you go. 100%. Consultant says it's in Bouvier's. Okay.
Bouvier's.
Nice, Wolf. Got to go back to the Latin with persona, a noun. Look up natural person. I believe the 1930 edition, A6. Okay. I might have it in mind. Hold on. Yeah, we got to do a show where we just read definitions all day. Because you can literally do a show where you just reading stuff off.
Natural person. Yeah, I can check that one out. Yeah, by Bouvier's is in the library. So I don't have it up here. Let's see. Natural person. All right.
Natural. There we go. I do not have. I don't got natural person in mind, man. I don't have it.
If you don't have it in yours, it might not be in this one then either.
Let me look at my newer one. Hold on. I see natural law. Natural. Yeah, I don't have anything here for natural person.
Huh. I do have natural person in here.
You do? I don't have it in mind. They must have taken it out between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Go ahead. What does it say?
Natural persons, such as are formed by nature, are distinguished from artificial persons or corporations formed by human laws for the purpose of society and government.
Yeah, I don't have that in mind. That's interesting. So they took that out
They
between
must
yours and this one. What kind of
they must have got beat up, like you said, on that one. They're like, oh, let's hold off for a minute.
Yeah, right. Hey, take that shit out of there, bro. It's just take it out of there, man. They got beat over the head too much. Like it's just like the traveling thing, you know what I mean? People be saying, "Yeah, I'm not employed." It's like, you know what? It ain't in there no more. Now what? It ain't in there no more. All right.
Well, that's almost even better, because if it's not defined, then it's up for grabs.
Facts. I actually heard they changed the definition. They put it back in there, but they changed. Matter of fact, hold on. I think they might have changed it in this one.
They expanded it, at least in the 11. I got the 11 with the expanded version. And they have like another 7 or 8 definitions of it now.
Really? What volume are they on now?
11. It's the 11th edition, and the best one is the expanded.
Really?
Yeah. It has all the extra cliff notes and stuff in it.
But yeah, they get all of this stuff and what they do with the definitions from case law and people coming in using their information against them. They start changing things. Like you say, when we move, they move, you know?
Yep, all the time.
That's why y'all got to stay up on your definitions, stay up on your learning, man, because I'm telling you, there's always something to learn.
Yeah.
Stuff. All right, where we at? Here we go. I think it should be on this page right here. The driver. Check this out. You listen to this shit. Yo, hold on. Yo, read yours off, because I want to read mine back to back. Read yours off first.
All right, hold on.
This is hilarious.
Yeah, let me get there.
I'm ready to look up traveling next. Wait a minute, hold on. That's crazy. Traveling is interesting. Traveler is very interesting.
Okay, driver. Okay, so in this one, it says driver. One employed in conducting a coach, carriage, wagon, or other vehicle with horses, mules, or other animals.
All right, now check this out. Mine says driver, a person actually doing driving, whether employed by owner to drive or driving his own vehicle. So this is a classic example of when we move, they move. That is, if it doesn't get any, and this is volume 6 right here. All right, they're on 11 now, so it probably changed again.
Yeah, I got that one. I'd have to go and grab it from the other book. But so in looking at the word driver and the definition, one employed, it says it right there. You look up the word of employment, that tells you it's for commerce.
Exactly. And then try to say driving his own vehicle, a vehicle by code of, what is it? Is that code of federal regulation, or is that United States code as far as vehicle goes?
I don't remember off the top.
Where's Jimmy Bennett at? He's real sharp with that type of stuff. I think it might have been the United States code. I gotta find it for definitions.
But yeah, so employ, just once again, employment application, employ. You know what I mean? That's for commerce.
Exactly.
So, and then here it just says any of those or other vehicle with horses, mules, or animals. So back in the day, they were just talking about, it had to be an animal.
Right. Yeah. All right. So check this out. Then for traveler, and after, let's start with travel. Travel, it says to go from one place to another at a distance, to journey. Spoken of voluntary change of place within the meaning of a constitutional right to travel, which means migration with an intent to settle and abide. It literally says that, and this is in volume 6. All right. Then it says traveler, one who passes from place to place, whether for pleasure, instruction, business, or health. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
That's like the back of the passport card I did a video on. It actually says right on there for international air or land travel.
Yep. It says it right on there. The details, man. The details, goddamn it. They matter, man. Reading matters.
It does. And comprehension.
Comprehension and reading matters, man. But yeah, this is a prime example of why you guys need to start buying stuff like this. Get this one, get the old one. So this is the 6th edition right here. All right. So start getting the old ones and grab a couple of the new ones rather, and grab a couple of old ones just so you can see how much things have changed. Or you can just do what everybody else does and just get on the internet and look. But I mean, I like to have the hard copies myself.
Right.
Know what I mean? All right, where we at? We behind on these comments. They have Black Law 2nd edition on Amazon right now for $187. That's a good price. Somebody hop on that. $187. That's a good price. Hop on that. I would just identify as a living man or woman if they try to deny, ask them to prove you're not. Yeah, I wonder if you could like go to the doctor and get like a bill of health or something like that. Basically, I'm a living man. It's right here, right here.
That's a good idea.
I'm a healthy living man. Get a notary jurat, whatever, include that in an affidavit. Hey, Valentine's Law Dictionary is good too. I never heard of that. Interesting. And Valentine's is under the definition of monster. Okay. Hyphenate and make your own terms too. Yeah, right. What is that? What's that language called again?
Legalese?
No, the hyphenations,
Oh, quantum syntax?
Quantum syntax, yeah. You guys will tell me about quantum syntax.
Yeah, quantum syntax grammar. There's a guy named Mark Christopher who issues a lot of information about that, but it was who else does it? Russell J. Gould and David Wynn Miller is actually the creator of it. He's from Wisconsin. He's from the state.
I thought he was in Canada.
What's that?
No, Gould is from Canada, right?
Yeah, I think he's from there.
Yeah. He's like the postmaster or something like that, isn't he?
Yeah, the general postmaster, something like postmaster general, something like that.
That's interesting stuff. I know a guy was telling me a lot of dudes are using the post office to bring them back to the land jurisdiction. He was saying that some of the Moors don't even use the non-citizen national passport because it's unnecessary. He was like, they just basically there's a process they do, but somehow they get like their address changed on all their forms to the post office, and that's back on land because there is no, mail delivery at sea when it comes to that kind of thing. Anyway, we're not talking about like air mail or anything. That's a little further than what we're talking about. But he was saying what they basically do is they put that address on all of their forms, and then that brings them back to the land jurisdiction, which means they get all their rights back. He says it works pretty good with the estate, they say. I've never done it, but it's something I'm definitely going to be looking into because it sounds like some information we need to be familiar with.
Yeah, informing them that you are on the land and that you are on land jurisdiction and not, because remember, you always have to rebut their assumptions. Because if you're dealing with them, unfortunately, they're under their entire jurisdiction is water-based maritime admiralty.
Yep.
And so they're assuming if you're there that you're playing on the water because, well, you're there and you're in front of them. So, and that's their jurisdiction. So you've got to be, but where the water meets the land is your bank. That's why you do business at the bank. And so you're on land. So you're trying to reserve your rights to stay there and not wade out into their waters. Facts.
I've even heard somebody say that once you go past that, I think it's once you walk in the door, but once you go past the bar, then yeah, you're out there at sea pretty much.
Well, what happens is the moment you step off of the public area on the outside of the building, you are in their water. And the closer you get to the judge or the magistrate, I should say, the further out into the waters you're going. And the further into, not only are you in the water then, but once you pass the gate, you're actually onto the ship's, the captain, which is the magistrate's inner chambers, essentially. Yes. So the closer you get to him, the deeper contract you're making a physical contract every time you get closer to him.
Yeah, that sounds very much logical. And then I go as far as to say when you even go in the courthouse at all, The reason you got to walk past a metal detector is the same reason you got to do that kind of thing when you're getting on a plane to go to another country. So you're going through a metal detector because you're going to a whole different jurisdiction, like you said.
Yep. They want to make sure that you have nothing offensive or defensive on you. So, yeah, for obvious reasons, because, then you can't hurt them and they can kidnap you.
They can do whatever they want to you, right? Well, shit, man. That's what I'm saying. One of the best things they could have done was taking people's arms away, really, like for that kind of shit, if they want to just run over top of people.
They basically be like this. We know he ain't got no weapons on him. Yoink!
Sitting duck aisle 7. Goofy.
We got that code 7 coming through.
Consultant says you can tell them how you interpret it, and it's the common understanding within your culture and society. Word. A show doing definitions would be great. Yo, we need to probably do something like that, man. Just to
that.
One employed. I love that. I'm sure if they had a time, here's why I know time machines ain't real. If they had a time machine, that shit would have never existed.
Bro, we'd be sitting here like, were we just talking about something?
I was like, hey, yo, who made this when he wrote that shit? Who made this? It took so many L's over there to the Supreme Court over the right to travel. How do you change the definition of vaccine too? Oh, they got busy with that one. Oh yeah, the hocus pocus, that was ill with that joint right there. Change that. They also changed the definition of herd immunity too. Y'all know about that? They redefine herd immunity as everybody take the vaccine, not get it and become immune after that as a group and get past it. Shoot, you can ask the judge, do you understand the difference between legal and lawful? And if they don't disqualify them, I'm pretty sure they would say yes to that. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be in this position.
That's a fire question right there. I'm writing that one down. Myself.
Yeah, facts.
Because you see what he did there, right? Because the word understand, whoever puts that out there is the lead. You're the master, because if you're saying, do you understand me? That means, do you stand underneath my power?
Boom.
So first of all, you got them right there. Okay. Second, now if they don't know the difference between legal and lawful, then you're disqualified, like you said, because then you shouldn't be doing what you're doing if you don't understand the difference.
Precisely. So let me tell you this little technique I actually, very similar to what you just said. There's a technique I actually was reading. One of my guys had posted on here, and he was saying it's like different things you can use in court. Let's see if I can find it here. All right, check this out. So it says the banker says, oh wait a minute, this isn't the court one. This is something else. This is the secure party joint. Yeah, this is something else. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. That's not it. I literally take so many notes a week. This guy went off. He put about like 12 posts in a row about this stuff.
Bro, I'm telling you and the viewers, this is all notes, bro.
Listen, yeah, man, it's real out here, man. The notes is real.
People be like,
seeing me writing every time I'm doing the lives. I be learning from y'all.
Like, oh yeah. People like, oh, how'd you put that file together? You got to piece it together. That's what I do. That's why they're effective. Because for me, when I made like the magistrate cop stop letter, I pulled all the resources from all the Supreme Court opinions, law, everything. Put it all together. I'm gonna hit you with all of it. So if you're gonna start creating your own documents and whatever, you got to take notes. You got to piece it together and fight. The pen is mightier than the sword.
100%. That's what it all is about, man. You got to be able to deliver that too. All right, so look, check this out. Courtroom techniques using the Uniform Commercial Code. All right, so he says, Judge, I do not understand this matter, and there's a question I would like to ask before I can make a response of innocent or guilty. I think it could be answered if I could put the officer on the stand for a moment and ask him a few short questions. So he says, the judge says, I don't see why not. Let's swear this officer in and have him take the stand. Then you say to the officer, is this the instrument you gave me, handing him the alleged traffic citation? Officer, yes, this is a copy of it. The judge has the other portion. To the officer, Where did you get the address that you wrote on this citation? Officer, well, I got it from your driver's license. Handing the officer the alleged driver's license. Is this the same document you copied the name and address from? Officer, yes, this is where I got it. To the officer, while you've got that in your hand, would you read the signing that's on that license? The officer reads the signature autograph. To the officer, while you're there, would you read into the record what it says under the autograph? It says, without prejudice, UCC 1308. Yo, once he reads that on record, yo, like the whole shit is gonna just stop. Like the judge gonna be like, recess. Like,
yep, that's it. No contract.
Hell no. That's a rap right there. On the record too? Nah, forget about it. Judge, let me see that license. The judge says, let me see the license. He looks at it and turns to the officer. You didn't notice this printing under the signature of this license while you copied his name and address on the ticket? Officer, oh no, I was just getting the address. I didn't look down there. Judge says, you're not very observant as an officer. Therefore, I'm afraid I cannot accept your testimony in regard to the facts of this case. This case is dismissed. In this case, the judge found a convenient way out. He could say the officer was not observant enough to be a reliable witness. He did not want to admit the nature of the jurisdiction of this court. Once it was on record that you had written without prejudice UCC 1308 on your license, the judge knew that he would have to admit that A, you reserved your common law rights under the UCC, and B, you had done it sufficiently by writing without prejudice UCC 1308 on the driver's license. C, the statute would now have to be read in harmony with the common law, and the common law says that the statute exists, but there is no injured party. And since there is no injured party or complaining witness, the court has no jurisdiction under the common law.
There you go. Booyah.
He's got a few other things on here too, but dude, that was the most fire one right there.
There's got to be a contract or an agreement that was entered into willfully for that to apply. Which there's not. Then there has to be an injured party, a signed, sworn, notarized complaint. Without those things in place, bye-bye.
Facts. All right, I got my man in the green room now, who everybody loves to hear from this guy, the consultant.
Oh yeah.
Yo, what's going on, bro?
Mo, I know you got some bars. I see you getting busy in the chat.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, I was just saying, shoot, you asked them the right questions, such as like, what did I put in there? Do they understand the difference between legal and lawful, right? Because they have to be qualified. So you're working on the way to disqualify them. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah. So you're working on the way to disqualify them. So when they say, let's say if they say yes, right? If they say yes, then you will ask them, is this a legal proceeding? They'll say, yeah, duh. Okay. So you're admitting that it's not a lawful proceeding. You start asking them questions like that and going down the road, and the moment they admit that, you just get them you just jam them up with questions. I will have to work on it's hard to do like impromptu like that, but
right.
Shit, you just go on that mindset there. You just start asking them questions. Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Yeah, you basically corner them with their own stuff and get them to admit this is where it is. And you can kind of break it down like, okay, so this isn't an Article 3 court. This is not a judicial court, is what you're saying. This is a legislative.
Facts. Yep. Questions are key right there. Also, getting stuff on record too.
Yeah, for the record, and basically instead of just asking them, right there in the public, like, hey, did you swear oath to take, did you take an oath to the Constitution or whatnot? Instead of just saying all that, asking them, do they understand legal and lawful? Well, the Constitution is lawful, right? It's the law of the land. It ain't legal. It's the law of the land. And if the case isn't underneath the Constitution, well, shit, you don't have no business being there. You're not a corporation. You're not colorable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All right, let's get down to some more of these comments. He says, and if they don't, disqualify them. Yes, sir. Just learn about that. The consultant. The consultant says, and you can serve the judge your Bill of Rights in an affidavit form and preservation thereof. That way, they have personal knowledge of your rights. Do that before going into the courtroom.
Yeah, because
Consultant
then
going crazy.
yeah, you serve the judge that, like, your Bill of Rights, the one that you created. Hey, these are my rights right here. I'm asserting them. That way, when you walk into court, the judge has personal knowledge and he's a witness. Let him do something adverse to you. Your Honor, you're aware of my rights, right? No one objected to him, and it was an affidavit that was sent directly to you.
Yep.
No one objected to it, so therefore it stands as truth.
Yep.
That's one of the maxims of law. An unrebutted affidavit stands as truth.
Man, you'll win all day.
Albert says, one would think that legal and lawful will be one of the same until you learn differently. That's what I used to think.
Yeah.
I thought they were interchangeable terms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nope.
One
Legal
is
within the corporation.
Yeah, the latter, like, well, yeah, legal would be evidence that something is lawful. But if there's no organic law that empowered the legal statute, then it's null and void. Sort of like child support.
He going in
It's
for
nothing
it.
positive.
I've actually read somewhere in one of those. It had been one of them code. I think it was United States Code, where it basically said that family court, they don't really even have the jurisdiction to even deal in family like that. Like It was interesting. It was the way it was read or written. I got to go back and find it because this guy had this video on YouTube like 2 years ago, and I stumbled across it. I was like, yo, this is crazy. So how the fuck are they not paying attention to the code? But it's that trickery,
Because people got to start going to the county courts versus the circuit. You can sue for custody in the county court instead of going and filing, petitions to a circuit court. You go straight to a county court, do an administrative process before you go against your opponent, and default they ask and get a summary judgment and do it inside of county court. You can sue them for $5, but you want equitable a remedy, such as, like, if it's for your children, that's equitable, things of that nature. But you got to have some type of monetary value in there too. So if it says the minimum is $35, then sue them for $40, and you want your kids,
right? Bars.
Everybody
over here soaking up game, bro.
it all still breaks down for me to jurisdiction and contract, because they're trying to force you to do something that's slavery. Slavery has been outlawed in the United States, in all 50 states. So, ergo, anything else has to be an agreement or contract. Show me the agreement or the contract, or show me your jurisdiction to do what you're doing. Because if you think you've got jurisdiction, then there still has to be some form of contract. So, same thing with child support. It's all contract biz right there. Everything, all of it. That's all you have is you got public and private contracts and agreements and jurisdiction. That's it. Once you understand those things, you can go up against almost any situation and win. That's it. Because if you're telling me you have the right to do you can do this to me, then okay, if you're forcing me, then you must own me. And if you own me, then I'm a slave, and that means you're a slave master, and that's against the federal Constitution and everything. So so what is it? Where's the agreement?
If they own you and you in litigation and you about to lose, and if they're claiming, the right to do the stuff they're doing to you, then it seems to me as if you're in a trust relationship and they're the trustees over you, right? You must be property, and they're breaching their contract. If you're so much a part of the public and they have a duty to protect the public, well, they're breaching their contract. They're not protecting you in that situation. You flip it back on them.
Yep.
I must be property of the state.
They're the trustees. That's in the Maryland Constitution.
Yeah.
My master not taking care of me.
That's hilarious. So via Grab says, too easy to prove you wrong in the moment on the I'm living according to this paper. LOL, this is probably funnier to me than anyone else. Did anybody, did I miss something there? Like,
I'm missing the whole thing.
I'm like, huh? Okay. Not no disrespect, Sophia, but for some reason that we didn't grasp that. You gotta rephrase that.
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
Jordan Thomas, natural law is respected by all. Civil law is respected by men who are members of society. As a member, you are under the authority, Congress, citizen, subject. Man is not limited to man's creation. Uncle Quest TC and his what up, man? Good to see you here, TC. TC Uncle. Killer Cashmere, man, what it do? What's good with you, man? Surfer dude, what's up with you? It's article wrangling, brothers. Wrangling. What is he talking about? They can find an address on the passport when you fill out the DS-11. I learned that being stopped while traveling in New York City. Police was lost. Nah, that's not what it is. They actually search your name and they search the birthday, and there's a database they have that connects directly with the Department of Motor Vehicles. And if you have a file in there, they can pull it up by that. They can even get the driver's license too. I might even see the consultant drop out.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. This is weird. But yeah, it's not the fact that they can get that from the passport.
No, they go around it. They did that mess to me a long time ago. They get your name, they'll run the passport, and if they want to overstep, which is a federal offense because you've presented your most accurate identification at that point in time, and they'll take your name and run the database, and they'll ask you, oh, is this the current address, or is this what's your address? Once you give them that, or if they can find it on something, like with me, it was in my travel document package. I actually still had I had blacked out the driver's license number, which they put on your state ID, but it shows that I no longer have a driver's license. So what they did is pulled the address from there. So that was the one mistake I did a while back, where I should have had that crossed out, because without the address, they can't call jurisdiction. And if you've done your passport the right way, you're on the federal do not detain list, and you don't have an address on there in the first place. So when you give them that address and they ask, can you confirm your residence? Sir, is that information to be used against me, or can it be? Well, yeah. Well, then, I've got the right to refuse that. I can't give you something that's going to incriminate myself. So that's your job. You figure it out.
All right. Yep. I'll tell them I'm homeless. I live in my car.
That actually, there's a case that they just ruled. You remember we talking about that Bad Wolf? There's a case they had literally just ruled that basically said you can actually claim your car as a place like of where your residence or where your house is or something. That shit was crazy. But that was actually a Supreme Court ruling. Huh?
And they can't tow it. If you tell them that your house is your car at that point in time, they can't tow it because they can't take your house.
Supreme Court. It's crazy, man. Listen.
Yeah. I mean, not only, first of all, is it your personal property and they have no invested financial interest in it. So it is a violation of federal law for them to do that in the first place. They get away with it under the guise that they don't know, one, what's going on, like the higher courts, but that you have their plates on there. So they have an invested interest, but they're having a third party remove your vehicle, which by RICO makes them a part of it too. It's a fraud. You can't steal somebody's property. Yep.
Then if you have a lien on there,
you haven't been compensated for it. Mm-hmm. They have to do that, and they have no financial interest, so you can't do that. I mean, they get away with it because we ain't taking them to the proper courts to get paid for it. But that's what they do.
Yeah, if you have that UCC1 lien on it, also, man, if they take your property, pretty much they're pretty much taking trust property. So at that point, there's a lien and the fine that they will have to pay.
Send them a bill.
Yep, send them that bill. Take them to court. They'll settle out. They don't have to because a lot of them, or if they don't, you can just go up there and start red tagging stuff. Like, look, I'll take this for collateral, this collateral, like the building, the office, the pens, paper, all tow trucks, fence, gates, all the cars inside the damn fence. Like, dude, I went from one car to 20. Like, I got 20 cars now.
You could sue them for their charter and be on the board of the agencies such as like the sheriff and stuff like that. Or like in Florida, like the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, they have boards. You can sue them for their charter. Fuck the money. I want to be on the board, and they gonna pay you as a member of the board.
Fire.
That's an equitable remedy. See, I'm trying to step away from the monetary stuff. I'm gonna start putting my fee schedule. I'm suing you for your board. Going a corporate route on them.
Gotta get up on that board, huh? Get a little dividends and all that good shit.
Yep. Control.
Yep.
That's where it's at. Control.
Yep. Nariah R says, did he personally write that under his ID or have it distributed that way to the DMV? Well, that was just a method, but I've heard like I've actually tried to because I know Taquan had got the international driver's license and he had done it through the little website or what have you. So I went to the website and I basically applied. So I get a call back. It was like $175. I'm like, all right, cool. So I applied and I signed, properly UTC 1308. And then I got a call back like an hour later. And the lady was like, yeah, we have your application here. We need your you can't, well, she said you can't sign your name like that. She goes, what you mean I can't sign my name like that? Well, you can't write that above your name. I said, also, we need your driver's license number. I said, just send me back my money. No problem. I got my refund within the next 20 minutes. No, thank you.
Yeah, the most DMVs they haven't all caught on yet that you can sign it when you're on your application, but some of them have. So they've been starting to not let people do that, the ones that already know about it. So it ain't universal. So if you can, you definitely want to put that on there, get it updated, renew it. If that's how you're moving, if you're a driver, then that's how you get down.
Yep. Yeah. Micro print and learn how to write very small.
Yep. Micro print.
And then also how they getting around it too. They making everybody do electric signatures. So
I don't
you
like
would
that
just
electric
have to type your
signature
name.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like that at all. I always say, I need a paper copy. After I don't even use QR codes when I go to restaurants. F that. Like, give me the paper menu or start reading it off for me. All right.
Stay old school.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't need my phone and the goddamn everybody know what the fuck I'm eating at. Hell no. F that, man. I ain't with that. Crazy.
Hey, an old dog don't need new tricks. It done survived all this time, and they trying to trick everybody into this new world and stuff. I saw where I was just reading the Florida statutes, seeing what they have that's new, where I think at the end of this year, and I know for sure next year in the first quarter, they're going to require everyone here to have digital driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
No more physical. It's all digital. It's in the statutes right now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I guess the question would be, if you don't get the digital license, like, they can still pull your information up.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be on your tag. Your status, like saying, let's say you have a license, it'll kind of be like a QR code where the cops can just scan it, right? And on there, if your license is suspended, they'll just have it right there. And that gives them reason, even if you're not, driving, quote unquote, it gives them reason to stop the vehicle and encumber you. So it's gonna look crazy out here,
Oh,
I'm going to Malaysia.
I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you, bro.
I'm gonna ride an elephant to the 7-Elevens out there,
And Nariah R says that without recourse and UCC. Well, without recourse is basically what you write on a negotiable instrument when you're sending it in. You write that on a negotiable instrument because what that basically means is they can't come back after you for like a fee or something of that nature. Without prejudice, basically, that grasps all your rights. So it's acceptance of contract acceptance of performance of contract under the preservation of rights, but without prejudice and without recourse is basically, take this instrument and don't come after me for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Even a quasi contract has no standing, especially if there's implied slavery. Yep, such as peonage. Yeah, this is exactly why when you ask the judge, you ask him, it's been brought to my attention that I have the right to know the nature of the charges brought against me. Could you please tell me if this proceeding is criminal or civil in nature?
So,
Yeah, and then they'll try not to have to answer the following questions, but a lot of times they'll say, it's a traffic citation. You basically say, well, which, what jurisdiction does that fall under? Is that civil or criminal? Basically, you got to keep pressing them into a corner. Then when you finally get them in that corner, they say, all right, well, it's criminal. You'd be like, as far as my knowledge of the Constitution goes, there's only two different jurisdictions that can be in a criminal. It can be either Admiralty Maritime Jurisdiction or a common law. So could you please tell me what kind of court we're in? That's when they start changing the subject for you, because they're not going to tell you that it's implied as slavery. They're not going to tell you that because they told you it was Admiralty. First off, they would be missing.
They gonna get in
Second
trouble.
off, they would completely lose every goddamn thing. Not only would that be fraud, every case of the sort in history that you're dealing with along yours, and even ones that aren't even like yours, would all be ruled as fraud if they actually came out and admitted that. A lot of people will go to jail, so that won't happen.
Well, that's supposedly what David Wynn Miller did when he quantum syntaxed all these documents. He basically made all contracts null and void because they weren't following the proper quantum syntax grammar for the structure and putting those contracts together when using the English language. So that
you know what? I'm gonna go to the Supreme Court this week. That's what I'm gonna do for people. I'm gonna go to the Supreme Court this week and have it the case I had with the child support thing about when they said no entity has standing in a child support proceeding or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and ask the Supreme Court, was the lower district court correct in that? See if they try to reverse it or something and try to establish it as case law. I'm gonna do that this week.
That'd be fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Nice. All right, Kenzo says, I'd like to ask if anyone has a claim against me or if anyone knows me. But yeah, yep. Does anyone here have a claim against me? Oh, well, I think the judge will say, I think the state of Maryland does. Okay, cool. I like to call the state of Maryland up to for questioning. Like that's when you hear a lot of this. Start hearing a lot of papers. Briefcases closing.
District Attorney Dickhead here, Your Honor, for the state of Maryland.
Yes, he represents the state. Okay, that's great. Present your claim against me. But wait, before that, so the information you're presented doesn't come from you, right? You got it from the officer or wherever. Well, that's all hearsay. That's not admissible in court. So you're trying to basically create a fraudulent situation because you don't have firsthand knowledge, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Can we do a continuance? Out of here.
What's that? I got to check something on the back real quick.
Yeah, Yusuf said the first thing you want to do is basically say, I think I might be in the wrong court. You give him plausible deniability. You know what I mean? That way, you are in the wrong court, sir. You actually belong 3 rooms up, and I know the judge. He does this all the time. Let me go ahead and just dismiss it. I'm going to reschedule it for this date, and you fuck around, leave, and never hear nothing back from him again. He was saying, give him that plausible deniability. Tell him, you think you might be in the wrong court.
Right. Shit, with any case, especially if it's criminal, man, I get mad as hell when people go in there and argue. Go in there and just tell them for the record, hey, Your Honor, I would like this question directed to the opposing party. Hey, opposing party, can you prove your case today? Because I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to plead the fifth. I'm going to elect to plead the fifth here and exercise that right. But I just want to know, can you prove your case? And the judge is going to say, well, this isn't the time. We haven't had an evidentiary here. Okay, well, I'll plead the fifth for the remainder of the proceedings, from this day forward. And just shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, but just be quiet. Mm-hmm. They need you to be a witness against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you just be quiet. Remember the dude, what's that dude's name that had he bought the Wu-Tang Clan's thing.
Yeah, David Martin Shkreli.
Smart guy. Everybody hates him. Smart. Go watch his court proceedings. Every question that Congress had asked him, because he was in a congressional hearing, a real court, every question that Congress asked him, he just pled the fifth on. Is your birthday such and such date? I plead the fifth. I respectfully decline to answer your questions. And I assert my Fifth Amendment right. Something like that, he said. And that's all he said. He ain't in jail.
It's crazy. I didn't even know that was a thing for real.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
But they don't have evidence other than your testimony, especially if they don't have a witness.
Right.
If they don't have a witness, just be quiet. You'll win. But deny all the evidence, the quote unquote evidence. Deny evidence. That's all. The only thing you got to do is just deny evidence, and you'll win.
Fire. It says, usually so far the 2 times I did it, I got crickets. Then ask the judge to dismiss for no corpus delicti. That's a great strategy. It says, so ask, I like to know if anyone here has a claim against me or if anyone knows me personally. Crickets. Motion to dismiss for no corpus delicti. Sweep that.
I'm gonna write that down.
That's fire. Like, it's clean and cut. Clean and cut. In general, World Boss 759 says, in general, have any one of you ever sued for monetarily damages, such as punitive damages or actual damages for violation of your rights? I'd like to hear each of you process. I have not yet had to.
No, I haven't. I got something in the works, but I don't want to discuss all that right now. But I'll be bringing some videos with that coming soon.
Shit, I have. Mine is right there on the Secretary of State website, underneath judgment liens against the state of Florida. I think it was for like $500,000, and I had to go to federal court for that. And yeah, I got a judgment lien.
Fire. Yeah, I wish Kevin was in here. I don't know. I haven't heard of Kevin in a while.
Yeah.
Hope he's
God
doing
bless
all right.
his soul. Bless his soul.
Yeah. I hope my man doing all right. My man out there fighting a good fight. Say no to cryptocurrency. Say no to electric cars.
What?
Hey, I'm winning with the electric cars. But the crypto thing that's a 50-50 to me. I'm here or there with it, you know. I get it though. I get it, but you know. Nariah R says tort claim. Yes, tort claim is the way.
Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, if you know the devil's coming, you might as well get a good seat. And so if you're going to try to play if you're going to be moving forward, you might as well dine with the devil, because the cash money is going bye-bye. That's just it. Period. The F out. It is gone. It is going. It's only a matter of time. So you can either get on the ground floor or get ran over.
They announced it April 4th. They already announced it. With that, man, everybody should be focused on getting assets. That's how the world always operated. I don't care what currency it comes out with. Just be in a position of being a merchant, you know, be in a position of leveraging your assets, you know, versus working for a cryptocurrency. Just be in a position. I accept the Japanese yen. I accept gold and silver. Hell, if the coffee is good, I might accept a cup of coffee. Barter and trade, you know. But yeah, just get in the position of having an asset, and you wouldn't have to worry about, you know, what currency is coming out or anything like that. People still in the world still trade herbs, and they trade services, they trade seashells still on this planet. You know, expand your palette.
I second that. You know what? You already know what I say, man. Gold and silver. You're gonna always be able to use gold and silver, no matter what cryptocurrency hits or whatever.
Man,
gold and silver is gonna be worth.
I take it all. I've had people ask, do you take Ethereum? Do you take Bitcoin? Do you take gold stock? Yep, send it all.
Right, right.
I take it.
Yep. Yep, send it on over.
The Ryan says, much rather the passport method and just travel. Traveling is better than driving in the matrix. So I'm with that. Appreciate the clarity, fellas. Yes, sir. Just make sure you know your shit because you will be tested.
Yeah, you can, like we talked about before, you can do right to travel. You can go to the DOT and get one of their plates that way, license and number or whatever. International driver permit. There's lots of options. You just got to figure out what you want to do. But I personally like the right to travel. Constitution already, backs it up. Supreme Court already backs that up. So I'm good.
There you go. No, Gilliard says, peace family, got my conveyance stolen by a tow truck late at night. My SUV is private, made a police report, but they can't track it. It's not in the system. Any ideas on better protection for private SUV? I'm assuming you probably left it parked somewhere. You're saying someone stole it. I'm assuming it's not a repo. I'm assuming you probably parked it somewhere. It wasn't supposed to be parked. That's tricky because if you have a situation where property is like, let's say in the trust or something like that, the tow truck company could be made, I suppose, like the trustee or such of basically maintaining or caretaking the property. So you gotta be very careful. Now I don't know what the circumstance is with what happened to you, but it sounds like your property got taken because it was parked somewhere.
Yeah. If you contact the city, usually they've got a top, tow truck company that they usually work with in that area. So, or if not that, then wherever it was parked, contact the store owner and ask them what tow truck company that they have an agreement with. Because if it was parked somewhere on the city should know who's the main couple of ones in that area. You're not going to get a tow truck company from 50 miles out. There's only going to be, 5 or 6 in that area for the most part. But if it was parked at some, apartment building wrong, they have to have an agreement with somebody to come get that stuff. They can't just go onto private property and say, oh, I'm going to tow this for this guy. And so that's what I would suggest, starting something like that. Or get yourself a GPS for your car. Know where it all is.
Call a sheriff or the police. Call the sheriff. They'll have it. They have to make a report to the all tow trucks companies. They have to make a report to the sheriff department. Call them. Tell them that your car has been stolen, or you don't know where your car is and you're afraid it might have been towed. They'll tell you exactly where it is. Then, like Matt will just say, get you a little GPS for your car for future references. And if it ever happens in the future, shit. I'm wild. I done climbed over the gate and crunked my shit up and told them to open the gate. I ain't getting out. This is my property.
Yep.
It's on your property illegally. I don't know who put it here, but it's mine. I'm taking it out of here. I ain't paying you a goddamn thing. Matter of fact, you gonna pay me for having my property. Is this a public company? Okay. Is this private lands? All right. Well, this is a private car. And the same rights you have, I do too. You can't encumber. Your rights can't trump mine. We're equal.
Nope.
What you want to do? Because I ain't leaving.
Facts.
No, they can't own your property for a corporate fine that they've put on. Think about it. All those things are corporate. That's in the corporation within the United States. They can't say that we own, that'd be like me saying, oh, I'm going to own the federal building because, they did something against me. And I just tell them, well, I own it now for $1,000 that you guys owe me. And now I own the whole federal building or the courthouse.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if we can't do it, they can't do it. They do it in a bullying tactic, in which case you have to go after them in court and, get paid for it. But yeah, it's your property. It's yours.
And
that means
they're supposed to notify the owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They're supposed to notify the owner.
And they lying about saying they can't find your car because cars get stolen from driveways with no license plates on them all the time. That shit happens all the time. So nah, don't settle for that. Well, it's not registered, but they just don't want to fucking do nothing about it.
Well, they don't want to register. They don't want to help him probably because he